This is the first video that I do since the election. And I've been in a really moment of very intense work. So I know I look tired, and I know many other people are looking tired as well. I'm near the beach today on a gorgeous walk, which is helping me restore and regenerate and rejuvenate. So the election's results hurt, as it hurt a lot of people, because of course I wanted my folks to win, as many of us did. And I want to talk a little bit about these results though, because I think it's important. Someone this week said to me, you know, I'm really intrigued by your take. And so here it goes. So a couple of things. First of all, I too was swept up with Kamala and had a lot of hopefulness that she would get elected, especially because I liked the way she was walking in the work. Like, I liked this joyful persona. And as someone who's been studying white supremacy for the past 30 years, I had no illusions that it would be easy. But interestingly enough, before Kamala got into the race, for at least a couple of years, I had been saying that I thought 45 would win. And I thought 45 would win for one major reason, which Adrienne Maree Brown best said when she said things are not getting worse, they're getting uncovered. I think we've been in this process in the United States of uncovering the underbelly of race for some years now. And as hurtful as it is, and as painful as it is, I think it's an important process. And so for those who, I mean, I'm not saying with this that I'm happy for the fear that anyone has, or the violence that is coming, you know, rise in hate crimes. It's horrific. I don't think any of this is good. But when we do look at the long arc of history, things do take on a different shape. And I think race has definitely been the underbelly of the United States since its foundation. It spent many years in the shadow, in the hiding. And there's something healthy, if not easy, in the struggle we're in right now, because it's coming to the surface, because it's getting uncovered. And so, you know, for the religious people who believe that in prayer God told them they should vote for Trump, I kind of believe them, because I believe that the universe wants us to heal. The universe will give us as many opportunities to heal as we need. And so when things happen and we don't heal, we get to choose again. And I would argue that when Biden got elected, we were still in a little bit of COVID kind of days. A little bit we were in PTSD days. And we didn't spend the past, most of us as a society, I'm not saying us individually, many of us did not spend the past 4 years healing old wounds. And so now we get to choose again. Now we get again to see the underbelly of America. Again, we get to face it. Again, we get to ask ourselves these really strong questions about who the hell am I going to be in an ugly world? Who the hell am I going to be in an unjust world? What is it that I'm going to stand for? What is it that's really worth my time? Like, what are the principles? what is the life journey that is worth my time and worth living? You know, I said this when 45 got elected the first time. You know, as someone who's been doing race work since 99 in the US and 1996 in Italy, you know, in those years, people were saying, race what? What racism? What inequality? You know? And then after 45 got elected, people were a lot more clear and straight up about, yeah, definitely, this is a thing. And who are we going to be in the face of this thing? And so when we get to see the beast with all its ugliness, when we get to like really witness the underbelly and be clear about what it is, then we look at it and we face it a little differently. Then we make some different choices about who we want to be in the face of it. And the motto I live by is that in an unjust world, the only free choice that I have is to make just actions. In an unjust world, the only freedom I have is to do just actions. That is the power we have, and we have to stop abdicating it in the name of this sense of victimization that we are repeating over and over and over again. So that was the first thing I wanted to say, which is that the underbelly has to show up again, because it is our opportunity to do better. And I do think there's lots we learned from the first round of 45. We had a little bit of a break, and now we get to face it all again. And I know that folks of color would probably argue that Biden wasn't exactly a break, but for some folks he was. Now, the other piece that I wanted to talk about is that I'm forgetting right now. I'm going to show you some beautiful view while I regain the other piece I wanted to share about. One of the things I thought about a lot since the election is that the African American elders I know, when 45 was elected the first time, had a very calm, centered persona. Like I expected them to be outraged, and most of the African American elders I knew weren't. And I think part of the reason was, which actually not I think, they told me that the reason was that they know America. They are very clear about who America is and who America isn't. And that the history of America is that at every advancement, there would have to be a backlash. And so they knew that the Obama presidency was going to come with a backlash. They weren't surprised by it. And so I wonder, those of us who are progressive or work either activists or in the nonprofit world, where do we get this expectation that because we fight for something, we're going to always get the result, that we're going to get the result in the timing we desire, and that we won't get pushback around it? Like, there's something profoundly wrong and fantasy-like about how we conceive of the work. Social justice work is never short-term work. Like, yeah, you can work for a campaign and that's awesome, but to work for a campaign as a progressive and then get so beat down by the results that you don't know who you are, or lots of people saying, I don't know this America. I'm kind of reacting to a lot of dramatic comments I've heard. No, this was America. This has been America all along. You've just woken up now and you're forced to see it because the denial has been peeled away. So I think about that core, centered, strong, and also somber presence of a lot of African American elders. And I wonder, how do we, and by we I think about in particular white folk who are in social justice work, white folk who are in the battle, believe in the battle, white folk who really want to make a difference. How do we find a stance in the work for ourselves, for the people we love, that allows us to be motivated when we want to reach a goal, but doesn't fall apart if the goal isn't reached? Like, I definitely wanted Kamala to win, but I'm not going to fall apart because she didn't. What is the core of my work? It's not any one president or any one election. The core of my work is how I want to feel and how I want to work in the world, walk in the world. And what is the legacy that I want to leave behind? And the legacy I want to leave behind is bigger than my lifetime. So one person's lifetime or one person's action or one person's impact doesn't change who I'm going to walk in the world as. It doesn't change whether, tomorrow morning I work with my students that I'm mentoring on their self-esteem. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change a lot of the details of my life. And so it's true that in the face of an emboldened group of people who support injustice and hate, life may seem harder. And depending on who you are and what you look like, it may be harder. And for those of us who are allies in the work, we need our center to be outside of the immediate. Because the truth is, we are privileged no matter who the frick is president. And so our motivation has to be deeper than that. It has to be deeper than an election, and deeper than where we live, and deeper than who we love, and deeper than our feelings about our country at any given time. The work requires a deeper level of commitment. The work requires that we make some choices about our own humanity and how we're going to walk in the world in the face of injustice. Because truth is, had Kamala gotten elected, African Americans would have been organizing 5 times harder against the school to prison pipeline, and white folk probably would have gotten so damn comfortable that we wouldn't often be in those fights. So my call to allies in this conversation is that, once again, you get clear about what is your motivation in the work. Why are you in this? How does being in the work and standing for justice improve your life? Not just the life of the people that you care about. And once you get clear about that, don't let it go so damn easily. Find a motivation that is bigger in the work than any specific campaign or any specific achievement or any specific goal. Because as Martin Luther King said, the arc is long, but it bends towards justice. I believe that in my heart of hearts. that in the long arc, things bend towards justice. We just have to have the strength and the commitment to stay the course, even when it hurts, even when it sucks, and even when it's hard. So go home, take a weekend off, find a beach if you must, recover, nourish your soul with things that allow you to both grieve and get yourself back together. And then let's get back to work. Because yes, we live in an unjust world and there's work to do. So let's roll up our sleeves and do it. Take care.